Hello and welcome. Welcome to another Resonite recap stream. I'm Frixus. I'm here with Aegis from our team, with Lex, who's like handling the camera and streaming, Bob from finance, or like finance officer, Rue from our team too, and then we got two surprises that are probably not surprises because I feel everybody already knows, but we can pretend they're surprises for the purposes of the stream. So with that, we're gonna be going over all the cool things that happened over the past month. So we're gonna be going over all the stuff that happened over the month of July. Like all of the kind of like notable stuff and just kind of recapping things. And at the end of the stream, you'll also be able to like ask a number of questions. With that, we should be able to get started. So let's go. Generally, we focus like on kind of big topics, but also like, there's a lot of like small things that kind of tend to happen over like the month. We closed 197 GitHub issues so far, like over the past month, and it's actually related to the testing. So, as we may have like known, like we are now in the final phase of our big performance update, which we kind of dubbed the splittening. What this does is separating Frux engine, which is our engine that like pretty much runs almost everything, separating it outside of Unity, so it can run with modern .NET 9 runtime, and the Unity itself is generally just handling the rendering, plus like a few small things like input, but mostly like rendering, and they're communicating over something called IPC, which is inter-process communication. And the big benefit of this is by being able to run Frux engine with modern .NET 9, we gained huge performance benefits from it. And people have already, like in our community, have already been testing. We've been running pre-release for I think over a month now, with lots of people like helping to find those bugs, find like various issues, things that are kind of broken, making GitHub issues, and we're kind of like churning through these as we go. As of right now, or actually like as of like last week, the splitting has reached feature parity, which means all of the features that are on the normal builds, they have been re-implemented with the splitting, and right now we're in a phase where essentially just trying to fix all of the remaining bugs, all the remaining kind of problems, making sure those builds are stable and they can be released to the public as soon as possible. So to everyone who has been helping us test this and find bugs, like thank you so much, because we've had like a lot of kind of engagement with this, a lot of people helping to narrow things down, figure out like like what is like causing the render to crash, what is causing meshes not to update, and like all kinds of like weird issues that kind of pop up like whenever there are major changes to the engine like this. We've also gotten like pretty good like feedback and data. We've seen like people hanging out on the pre-release like sessions. There have been people both in desktop, both on VR, and generally the data we've gotten so far is quite promising, with quite significantly improved frames, meaning like you can more frames per second. Also improved stability of frames, meaning like if there's like any spikes, any like hitches and lags, those are like way smaller. Which generally like contributes to things feeling more comfortable. And also the loading times, they've been like drastically improved, where some of the most complex worlds on here, they usually take less than a minute to load. As of today, we also have now mostly full support for Linux, where we have actually opted to do a very unique architecture where we are using Linux native .NET 9 Protoss, which is running majority of the engine, with only the render running under Proton. So this architecture, instead of like under being fully Proton or fully native, it is a hybrid. And this way it kind of combines the best of both worlds, where we don't need to maintain the render for Linux separately, but we still benefit hugely from running the main process where majority of the performance needs to go without the overhead of like Wine or Proton. And we are very kind of excited, that we can actually employ this kind of architecture, which we feel is like one of the like most unique ones like out there, giving us giving us like really good benefits like on Linux with like a really good performance. The build that was released like about an hour ago, it actually has like support for audio, and they're still like missing clipboard support, but it's coming very, very soon. Pretty much like right now our focus, if you want to help with testing, we recommend jumping on the pre-release builds. We still do have a warning because we had like a number of bugs where the water would start like, flashing brightly, like there would be like, bright flashes, like meshes would explode and so on. So if you're photosensitive, we still recommend like waiting for this to be released once we are sure it's fully stable. Right now, it doesn't seem to be happening anymore, but I still can, be better safe than sorry. However, if you don't have like issues with that, please, if you can, hop on the pre-release builds, help us make sure this is polished as fast as possible and can go out to everyone as soon as we can. And pretty much like the focus right now is just making sure it's stable, making sure there's like no content kind of breakage, making sure like any of the hardware, like for example VR controllers, everything works as it kind of did before. So if you want to like learn more, check out either the update channel on Discord, that like every post for the splitting update, it has information about how to test. There's a link to our GitHub, so we can also access it directly through GitHub. We go to the discussions. There's the splittening testing discussion, which has like instructions and information on how we can test and how we can kind of contribute to this process. And for everyone, like, again, who's been helping us test this, thank you so much, because a lot of your work has been kind of helping make this go as fast as it can. With this, we should be able to move to the next topic, which is additions by our team. So I'm going to hand this off to Aegis.
Yeah. Main thing here is we now finally gotten to the phase of having all the content that we'd like to have in the help tab that we've been working on. That will be a new tab in your dashboard. That will be a kind of like a field guide for those unfamiliar, for those that are new and existing users within Resonite, to learn lots of different things and to have like a resource directly in your menus for various different things. The state that it is in right now is now kind of like in a proofreading phase where folks from the mentors and moderators are going in, helping us go through and set up the base locales for all the different parts of the help tab. And I know Raivi has gone through and did development on the actual addition of the help tab as a pull request. So that'll be out sometime post-splitting, as well as a few other things happened here and there. I know Rue has gone through and added quite a few plants that are also in this world that we're in, kind of a set of tropical plants, including also LODs, which are models that change their detail depending on how far you're away from them. And the existing plants that are in there also have LODs added onto them as well. And they're found within the Resonite Essentials. Oh, Rue just spawned them in. There we go. And scale them down. Yeah.
These are modeled after some of the ones we got in the Essentials before. Basically just made our own versions of them using some textures we had.
Yeah. Some while-in-progress things also. During this time, I've been going through and updating the look of some of the old badges that are in progress. Currently, I'm going through and modifying and updating the look of the yearly badges as of late. So that's still in progress. Going through and pretty much refining and getting a good feel of how these should look.
Thank you very much, Aegis. Those are really kind of cool updates, and actually like the help tab, like I'm really most excited for there, because it's one of those things where we lure people in, with the splittening once it's released, and we'll also be like, look, there's if you're lost, there's a help tab, and that should hopefully help especially new users, or even people who haven't played for a while and are returning. They're gonna find a lot of really cool information. As well as people in the community helping out proofread and helping to kind of translate those into different languages. So it's very exciting. It's going to pair really well. With that, we should be able to move to the next topic, which is some smaller like quality of life improvements. So because like our major focus has kind of been on the split ending, that's kind of been holding off number of kind of smaller additions. However, number of like our team members, they've been kind of like cooking different things, either ones that like improve our development, or they improve they're sort of like small like improvements like Resonite itself. They're going to be merged once the split ending is released. So like once that's done, there's also going to be like a bunch of kind of cool features and improvements like the flow. We have like a number of them. Like one of them, I think we should have like tabs for these. One of them is like log parser on our GitHub made by J4. And it actually helped a lot like with the testing, particularly on the splittening, but it helps like in general, where it'll parse the logs, extract useful information, so we don't have to kind of parse through it like manually, and that saves a lot of time on our developer side, because usually on developer side, like we deal with dozens of issues every single day. There's like a lot of them to kind of read through, so anything that kind of helps save time, that just kind of helps like speed up the overall development. There's also like another addition that's coming to the inspectors with like a small UI tweak to like allow enabling disabling things right on the inspector. Probably not gonna do like big modifications until inspectors are at work, but sometimes like team members will pick up like small improvements like here and there. There's a bunch of like other more things like as well as some bigger things. They're gonna be like merged ones. Like for example, Pro Prime has worked a lot on the reflection probes. That's those improvements and fixes are still kind of coming. There's also improvements to the GoResonite.com, which is the website where you can easily preview worlds before going to them. You can find information, you can even search worlds and sessions, and that's actually gotten a number of community improvements as well, because this part of the project is open source, and we've had a good number of community members making PRs for like various improvements. So thank you everyone for helping to improve that as well. We should be able to move to the next topic, but once the splitting kind of happens, there's a good number of improvements and features that you can also look forward to. So finally, we get to the secret. We have 2 new team additions who everybody probably already knows. So Rusty and Decoy, come here.
Hello.
And welcome to the team.
They've been spawning out a whole bunch of things, and now they got it in front of the camera.
Yeah, there's like there's like a whole corner. Like, can you?
Yeah, we're
contribute
showing
to that.
They've been leaving a little mess over there. I figured we show that.
I didn't do that.
Here,
It says birds rule.
here, let's
That's just a fact. That's not me.
let's bring over here. Introduce you.
Let's come over here. That's the marketing corner. Decoy and Rusty, we brought them on to kind of help us, with marketing Resonite, because both have been doing excellent job as part of the community. Rusty's been making excellent tutorials, a lot of protocol stuff, a lot of really cool technical stuff, and Decoy's been making that kind of content. So
You need both. You need balance for sure.
yes.
Bird.
Yeah. So hi, we're here now.
Hi, I'm John Resonite now.
We're John Resonite.
I think you were John Resonite.
We're all John Resonite.
We're all John Resonite.
We're a hive mind. Maybe.
I am John Resonite.
No, I am. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. We all are.
We all are John Resonite. It's like that I'm Spartacus scene. We all are John Resonite.
Oh no.
But anyway, do you prepare your 50-page essay speech?
Yeah, okay. So step 1, I'm gonna give you a tutorial right now for how to do everything that you possibly can in Resonite, every permutation of every component and Flux node together. So have a seat, get a snack, and we'll be here for about 30 years?
I think that's gonna be more than 50 pages.
Oh, I don't know. I condensed it as much as I could, but
Must be very small text.
We'll need a microscope for that one.
Anyway, welcome again to the team. And we actually have next topic. I don't actually know we have a slide for this one. For good. We don't. Sorry. Spoilers for the next one. We do have a community PSA for scan versions of Resonite, and actually, Decoy would want to share a little bit more with us, because we kind of looked into this quite in detail.
Yes, absolutely. Give me 1 second. Hello, I returned. Hi, I'm a bird on the internet. Sometimes I do cybersecurity stuff on the side, but right now I'm kind of acting more in a Resonite manner. So recently, my tracking agrees with me. We've had some people in Discord try to scam some of our users by trying to send you to a certain website that was not our website. It was a copy of the Resonite.com website that included a very shady Resonite.exe. So they did not do a very good job of copying the website, but they attempted us multiple times. As you can see, this is just a very lazy copy of the website. This happened, I think we had 3 copy sites of the Resonite.com, and it was a very basic scam website that just copies the front page and then puts a malicious link in there. As a reminder, because of that, please note that you can only get Resonite on Steam. Please only download Resonite from Steam. If you find a Resonite.exe on a different website, it is not Resonite, all right? And what this .exe did is it was something called a myth stealer, I believe is what the malware was called. And what it does is if you run it, it basically takes all your passwords from your browsers, Chrome, Firefox, all that stuff, sends it away to some scam place, I would assume, and they have all your passwords now. The good thing is that they weren't targeting Resonite directly, so they didn't take any of your Resonite data. They weren't taking any Resonite credentials unless you logged onto the Resonite.com website. So it is thankfully not directly targeted at Resonite, but it was targeted at the users, just for that piece of data. So if you did download something like Resonite.exe off of a shady website, please change your passwords, but please also know that your Resonite account probably was not affected. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And generally, it's good, always verify your sources, especially when it comes to downloading applications, executable code. Make sure you're getting them from sources you trust. With that, we also have one more thing for the community. This one's the Resonite featured content forum. So next, would you be able to tell us a bit more about that one?
Yeah. So in July, we rolled out a cleaner way to keep track of all the featured content for this month. We gathered featured submissions for the month and put them into an easy-to-find Discord thread. Now you can scroll through July's featured builds with high-quality pictures and direct links to each of the worlds or creations. By setting the standard now, we're making sure that the experience stays smooth as the community continues to grow, and then we can see more content built by this awesome community. And if you want your work to be featured, just head on to our Discord featured contents channel, and you'll be able to find a thread there that will walk you through the submission process. We've already seen some really cool submissions already, and if you scroll up to the top of the list, you'll be able to see the spotlight. And our spotlight submission for this month was Liminal, which was a cool art performance done out live here inside of Resonite. So definitely check out that video and ask the creator to possibly see the experience too. And we'll be having a lot more things added to the whole featured content submission form as well in the future. That's about it.
Yeah, thank you for the update. So just to cap this off, once again, Rusty and Decoy, welcome to the team. You're very kind of helping with stuff. So, and very happy to have you.
It's good to be here.
This, we can move to our final topic, which is Bob's business and finance officer. So, Bob, tell us a bit more.
Hey everyone, glad to be here for another recap stream. I just flew back from the States last weekend and boy is my broom tired. I want to thank the Weavers Lab team for making it a wonderful trip. I also want to thank Japan for making it a terrible trip because it was too dang hot and humid. So I'm going to quickly blast through my first 3 slides and then talk about the fun stuff. On our first slide, it shows the size of our user base and new user acquisition over the past 6 months. There was a little bit of a slowdown in July. We've held off on marketing activity as we eagerly await the splittening. Many of our social media influencers that we signed up are chomping at the bit for the release so they can start creating amazing content. We're also anticipating a big boom in user growth post-splittening, so mentors be ready for waves of new users. All right, let's go on to the next slide where we have the 6-month breakdown of our business to consumer revenue. Month over month, it's basically flat, not much to say. We anticipate B2C growth in Q4 of this year once we start up our marketing efforts, but financing the continued expansion of the company has been primarily B2B. So moving on to the next slide, we'll be covering the percentages of those subscribers. While the majority, while about a third of revenue has been moved from to Stripe from Patreon, it's largely been the most generous subscribers of the higher tiers. Only 20% of the total subscribers have made the transition, and we think it has largely to do with Stripe being currently in beta. A former announcement of the end of beta and a full release is on the near horizon, most likely timed around the splittening. Now, for the last slide, I wanted to do a special thanks to all of our partners. I just concluded a trip around the world to visit EAM in Florida, Viarsys in Austria, and Weavers Lab in Japan. They all have been gracious hosts. We are all connected on the partners Discord channel, and everyone is supportive of each other. While EAM is our newest partner and just signed in May, they are already having client meetings and bringing new faces into Resonite. Viarsys and Resonite have closed a significant long-term business deal that should ensure financial stability and stable cash flow for at least the rest of the year and into early 2026. Last month, Weavers Lab and Resonite closed an important contract that will open up many future opportunities in Japan. Overall, the trip was a great success, but very tiring. Fortunately, I get to rest this week before I begin my next lap around the world, starting on Sunday. That will take even longer. So yay! Okay, that's all I have for now.
Thank you very much, Bob, for the update and for all the work as well. So yeah, with that, you should be able to now ask questions. Whatever you want to ask, whether it has to do with whatever updates we talked about, whether it's to the new team members or even just general in the Resonite, feel free to ask. One thing, you have to make sure to put a question mark in your question the way it pops on our chat, and make sure we don't miss it. And preferably, since Bob is tired, if you have any questions for him, try to ask those first. So let's start. Jared was asking, Resonite has our passwords confirmed? Actually, we don't. We hash and solve them, so we don't actually have your passwords. That's one of the important security practices. Is we don't actually store the passwords. Even in the case say the database leaked, which that would be a big security thing. But even if that happened, it still wouldn't let people log into your account, because once you do the hash and solve the password, that's pretty much with modern algorithms, that's not really easily reversible. So we technically don't have your passwords, which we shouldn't. I thought Stripe was out of beta already, so we kind of been saying that it's pretty much stable to use, so we can kind of switch to it, but we still haven't made a big announcement for it. So that's probably why. Zimarcus is asking, I've never heard of those business partners. Who are they, and what is their vision of Resonite? So this one Bob question.
Well, I mean, for the past several months, actually, on the last 3 recap streams, I have been pulling out business partners and saying, hey, these are new people. These are business partners. Talk to my business partners. QA, ask them questions. So you must have missed the last several streams, but they're really cool. There is a company in Florida, Orlando, called EAM. It's Austin and Erica Mitchell. And they're fantastic. They work in space. They run an incubator. They're fantastic. I'll be actually visiting them next month. And then we also have Viarsys in Austria. They have been in our business since 2016. They were supportive of us back in the before 4 times, and we are working with them on some very, very large business deals that will be massive enterprise type stuff. And then we have the Weavers Lab team in Japan. They are really, really cool. They build lots of different like mods, and they do live events in Japan. And they're probably the number one reason why Japan is our second largest population by country at 13.5%, with the United States being the first at 40%. So those are our three partners.
Next question is from Dali Coffee. Might be early ask, but after splitting dust settles, what is the dev team's next big priority? Any chance full body calibration will see some quality of life improvements? So that hasn't been decided yet. Full body is definitely one of the things like that's up there. I would also like to clarify that we don't actually plan to improve we don't plan to initially do improvements for the full body calibration because the calibration process is technically fine-ish. The main problem actually lies with IK, because what the full body calibration does, it calibrates, your trackers to the IK. If there's an issue with the IK where it's not behaving the way it's supposed to, there's pretty much nothing you can do with the calibration. You can keep messing with it, you can kind of get it close, but ultimately it is the problem of the IK itself, not the calibration process, because the calibration process can only work with what the IK can do, and if there's issues with the IK, then its options are limited. The way we plan to address it is actually rework the IK with our own in-house system designed, to work really well with Resonite, and that should help drastically improve its behavior and the full body behavior. However, the actual priority hasn't been decided yet, so it's probably gonna be some time after dust settles. We're gonna figure out what's the most important thing to work on next. The next question is from Nukiko. How can we as users be supportive of team morale outside of spending money on things? And there's a few things. So definitely supporting Resonite monetarily, that actually helps because we are able to we're able to kind of keep the lights on. We don't have to worry too much about our finances. We can get more people on the team, which kind of helps spread some of the workload, make things go faster. I would say the second thing is helping spread Resonite to other users. If you help our user base grow, that grows also the number of supporters, which helps grow the platform. And that in general, just kind of helps Resonite and us as a proxy. But also just being kind, being friendly, a lot of the stress can be sometimes when people get a little bit too demanding, asking why isn't this done, why isn't this thing done. That usually doesn't help things super much. We're happy to answer questions, but if the tone is kind of hostile, that tends to make it a little bit harder on our end. So it kind of helps. I don't know if you guys have anything you'd like to share too.
Realize that we have emotions.
Also, if you have bugs or feature requests, etc.
Get a difference.
Yeah, that is all.
Another really easy thing is let
This
us
will
know the
fit
kind of
right
features you
here.
like, or if you see some stuff that you find fun, just let us know what kind of things you're enjoying. Share some screenshots and some videos, and let us see y'all having a good time. I enjoy looking at the screenshots channel and seeing people do all kinds of fun, wacky things.
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. I feel this is one of those things because on the development side, it feels 95% of stuff I deal with is just issues, and it just feels everything's broken, everything's awful, all the time, everything's just bad. Because people usually people when they just like something, they don't share it as much, so we don't actually see it as much, and a lot of times it feels the work we're doing is just it's just bad. So sharing things you do that actually helps a lot because it kind of gives a lot of motivation, because we're okay, we made a difference, we made people happy, so that definitely does help. If you'd like us to ask more questions, there's a number of teams who host their office hours. There's one on Tuesday by Purple Prime. There's one on Wednesday, with Aegis and Drew. And sometimes I don't know if you have other RT members. There's also whatever that is. And there's also the moderation office hours on Sunday, and the resonance on Sunday as well. like shortly after, and sometimes other team members run their own as well. Like J4 has run one recently, although I don't think this is currently a regular one. But you can find all the office hours on our official Discord, and to the events tab, or events panel, or whatever we call it. You can find the dates and times for when these happen. So those are like excellent place, to ask us more questions. Like you can even go like more in depth, more than we have time like on this recap stream. With that, thank you everyone, so much for joining this recap stream. Thank you everyone here for helping with this as well, and all those shenanigans too. And thanks again, Decoy and Rusty, like for joining the team. We're like happy to have you.
Good to be here.
Yeah. And to everyone watching, thank you very much. Thank you for supporting Resonite, whether it's just by playing Resonite, being part of the community, because it kind of helps helps us grow. The platform is only as alive as its users. So even just playing, if you're like making cool stuff that's helping the platform, if you're supporting us financially, either on Stripe or Patreon, that helps us hugely too. It allows us to keep the lights on. It lets us, continue working on like cool new features, fixing up bugs, bring more people on the team. If you haven't switched from Patreon to Stripe yet, we strongly recommend like doing so even if it's on the same tier, because we will get more money that way, because Stripe takes a smaller amount in fees, so doing that helps us a lot too. And also, if you've we've been sharing stuff like social media, that helps a lot too. Like spreading like what the platform can do, what kind of cool things and shenanigans like everyone gets up to. Thank you for everyone helping with the splittening, because that's also been like helping a lot. Once the splitting is released, like we'll usually compile like a list of everyone who kind of helped. We're gonna compile a list of all the like supporters as well, sponsors and so on. As like a big thank you once it's kind of released, and we hope to have it like done as soon as possible. So for everyone who helped like testing, thank you so much. If you haven't tested it yet, like if you can, try jumping on like as soon as you can, because we're getting like down the wire and getting to the final phases, fixing the final bugs and making sure it can be ready soon. With that, thank you very much, and we'll see you whatever next stream like you decide to watch. So thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Have a good friend.
So many thank yous.
Woo!
Woo, and we got the rats.
I got the rats.
That's a lot of rats.
Okay.
There's a lot of rats.